Okay. Okay.
Oh, that's live. Oh.
Okay. All righty.
Hey, there we go.
Hey. There we
We're
go.
back.
We're back.
We're back.
We warned you, but we're back.
And The Shining.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're back.
No, Daddy, something. I can't remember it.
Red Room.
There,
Yeah.
that'll work. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach for April the 24th, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. Yay!
Hey.
Enthusiastic bunch. My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay, and I'm an amateur astronomer and member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. First of all, I'd like to welcome back my two regular co-hosts, my fellow RAS member, Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton, NB. Hey, Paul.
Ooh,
Evening.
it is
Moon.
Being followed by a moon shadow. And I'd like to welcome back our other regular co-host and fellow RAS member, Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Hey, Mike.
Oh. I have to figure that out. I'll have to Google that one of these. Google Translate or something.
Okay, well then on tonight's episode, after a quick review of last week's list, we're offering the second part of our discussion around our top 20 astronomy tips, things that we've learned over our years in the hobby that hopefully will help you out and help you avoid the frustration that we sometimes experience when learning new things. Also tonight, we're bringing back Macgyver's Tip of the Week. Yay!
Hey.
As a regular segment on our show. Mike's not as happy as the rest of us are, but we're happy. So we're bringing him back anyway. Mike is going to, on his premiere segment, he's going to introduce a talk on desiccant caps. Thank you. Why they're important and how to make your own.
Yep.
Mike will also be bringing back Binal Bud for another interesting binocular target for you to enjoy this week. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Paul's going to provide us with another segment of Rosanna's Fun Facts tonight as well. We want to thank Rosanna for contributing again to the show, as well as his useful astrophotography tip of the week, checking your data before stacking, and the benefits of taking this important step.
Indeed.
Awesome. Okay. I'll be offering you a little bit of a view of what's up in our night sky this week, or in our daytime sky, I'll say too. I'll also have all of your wonderful photo submissions to share, and we'll be doing a draw as well tonight for our recently completed Shoot the Moon contest. So another very busy program coming up. So remember, folks, this is a family-friendly, interactive. We're interactive here on Facebook and YouTube. Live broadcast. So for those of you joining us from my YouTube channel and Facebook page, we are happy to try and answer all your questions here in real time as well. So let's get started, guys, with another episode and a look at some astronomy
before
tips.
Before we start, we'd like to extend a happy birthday to our favorite painter in the world, Renat.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Renat.
Yes.
Awesome.
Sorry.
I wanted to show off my nice new cup. Isn't that nice?
I likes it.
Awesome. That's out of this world.
It is out of this world. Okay, let's go from there to our talk on astronomy tips. I'm just going to share one slide maybe first, just to give us a little bit of a brief look at what we looked at last week. So I'll present my screen here for a minute. I'm going to see if I can find it. Should be this one. Yeah, okay. So this is what we covered last week on last week's astronomy tips. If you didn't happen to tune in, we had a look at these particular ideas to help you observe the night sky a little easier. So first of all, we talked about planning your evening, being sure that you have everything ready to go. First of all, bring extra batteries along, your extra SD cards if you're going to be doing some camera shots. Looking ahead to see what the weather is going to be like as Mike suggested, that's probably one of the first things. Look out the window. Uh, other than that, have a look at Stellarium if that's what you use for a planetarium program to decide what targets you want to shoot for, because you may have limited time as well. So do that. Dress warm. Bring enough clothes with you that you can take some clothes off if you have to, but you can't always put them back on. You make sure that you have enough clothing that it's going to feel like about 10 degrees colder than it actually is. So dress warm. After that, get a comfortable chair, and I'm going to demonstrate a chair here in a second once we get back to the live view. So bring along a comfortable chair because that's going to get you comfortable, and you want to be comfortable when you're looking for those deep sky objects. You don't want to be distracted by your back being sore or in the wrong position, that type of thing. So find a comfortable chair. That's probably as important as it is picking up the right telescope. Keeping your dark adaptation, being sure that your eyeballs have a chance to dilate. They take about 20 minutes to dark adapt. But as soon as you look at your phone, they're going to shrink again, and it's going to take another 20 minutes to open them back up again. So don't look at your phone if you can help it. Get away from lights if you can. Use a red flashlight. That type of stuff, just to try to keep your dark adaptation well. Keep both eyes open. You'll get a better view with both eyes. If you close one eye, the other eye that you're viewing through will actually shake a bit. So you're better off to try to keep both eyes open if you can. Cool down your equipment. Let your equipment cool down for at least 20 minutes before you start to observe. You're going to have tube currents or heat passing up by the telescope. The telescope is going to want to be the temperature that it is outside. The closer you can get to the outside temperature, the better and crisper your views are going to be. So give it at least 20 minutes, and for every inch above 4 inches of telescope, you should add another 10 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes to your time. Set up in the right location. Don't set up on asphalt. Asphalt and concrete send heat back up into space in the evening, so that's going to pass by your telescope. So you're going to see these waves as if you were riding along a desert road kind of thing. You don't want that. You don't want currents passing up past your telescope. So set it up on grass. That's the best thing. It's a lot softer too to absorb some vibration, and there'll be less heat dissipating from the grass than there is from the hot asphalt. Use averted vision. Look straight onto the object, but use the side of your eyeball to see if you can pick out more detail. It's a trick that takes a little bit of time to master, but once you do, you will pick up detail that you might not have seen when you're looking straight on at the object. Using filters for detail. Moon filters we talk about. All that bright light from the moon can really be very painful to look at when you're looking at a bright moon because telescopes are designed to collect light, so that's their purpose. So if you don't use a moon filter, you might be in some trouble. Solar filters we'll talk about a little bit later. But if you only have the opportunity to pick up one filter, try to get a blue one. A blue one will be good on the moon. It'll also be good on the rings of Saturn. It'll pick up some detail on Jupiter. So if you can only get one, pick up a blue one. And keep an observing log. It's always nice to go back later on and take a look at what you've accomplished. Maybe you've picked up, maybe you've had a few mistakes. Write down your mistakes along the way so that you can go back and remember those activities. And just, the type of weather, when was the first time that you saw the bands on Jupiter, that kind of thing. So maybe you've got some detail that you can go back to maybe a year later and say, well, how did I do that? How did I first get to see the bands on Jupiter, that kind of thing. So just keeping an observing log helps you keep record of, because we're all like that. We can't keep track of everything. So I would say that's our first 10. And I'm going to drop that window out of the way. And I'm going to stop presenting because we're going to kind of look at our next 10. So just give me a second. Oh, here we go. Got to get to my right window. There we go. Okay, so next 10. Hey guys, who wants to go first?
All right, I'll go
I'm not
first.
doing all the talking tonight, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Aw. I thought we had it made here.
Well, stabilize your mount is the first one, and that also includes your tripod. And I think you're talking about a tripod
Yes.
because most mounts are pretty stable. So to stabilize a tripod is a very simple thing. Take your tripod, grab a bag. If you can carry one of these non-plastic bags in your back pocket easily. Put it on your tripod. If you have something on the bottom that you can hook, that has a hook, you can set it there. If not, just wrap it around the front of your tripod, and you can just pick up some rocks and stuff on the beach or where you are. Put it in that bag. It'll weight it down, and so if you're shooting, say, long exposures, maybe you're up in the mountains shooting bears, Mike?
Yeah.
Or anything that you're doing long exposures for, you don't want the wind to shake your camera. So any kind of weight you can add to that tripod base will stabilize your camera. That's it.
Such a simple thing that makes such a big difference, actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. That's a great one. That's a very simple fix, and again, yeah, it makes an awful difference for frustration for sure.
Yeah.
Don't forget about observing in the daytime sky.
Now that one's awesome because what do I look at in the daytime sky? Well, number one, if you got a solar filter on your scope, you're going to be out there like we have lately looking for sunspots. And everybody loves to look at sunspots. If you got an H alpha telescope, that's even better because now you can see the flares and stuff off the side. So there's so much activity going on in the sun right now, especially where it's picking up. Don't forget to look at the sun during the daytime with the appropriate equipment. Saying that, we've also seen Venus and Jupiter in midday as well, believe it or not. You can get them with your telescope, as long as they're not close to the sun, of course, because you don't want to be trying to search around the sky and accidentally hit the sun. But we were looking at Jupiter and Venus from, I think it was Macgyver at noon hour when we were up there at a star party. So you can still see planets during the daytime. And, again, you bought a telescope. It's not only used, for looking at stuff at night when you can see stuff like that during the daytime. So it's great. Don't forget the day stuff.
A week or so, you've got a daytime moon up too, so you've got lots of
Yeah.
opportunity to view the moon. Even just before sunset, if you got a really thin moon, so you've got that view as well. So yeah, absolutely, Mike. I may take along the one learning to collimate your reflector telescope. Hey, there's a reflector telescope. Hey, there's a couple of reflector telescopes. What do I mean by a reflector? Well, a reflector is this design. So instead of you looking in the far end down here, what you might think a telescope would be, you're going to be looking in up here on the side of the telescope. So to do that, what happens is the light actually shoots down through, I can get that up that way. There's a mirror in the bottom. So we can see a mirror down there at the bottom of the telescope, kind of. And up here at the front, there's another mirror. Now, both of those mirrors have to be aligned properly for you to get a proper view through the telescope. Otherwise, you're going to see a very fuzzy view. You're not going to get a clear view of the moon or any other object that you're trying to focus on. And it's not going to be necessarily the focuser. So if you can't bring things into focus with the focuser, then you're going to have to do something what we call collimation. So collimation simply means that you're going to align the two mirrors so that they look at each other properly. It can take just a bump or two to knock mirrors out of collimation. If I look at the back of this setup here, we'll see that there's 6 bolts. 3 of them actually lock the mirror in place. The other 3 are used to adjust the mirror. So there's a few steps that you have to go through to collimate. I'm not going to go through the steps here tonight, but YouTube has a large number of videos that show very simply how to collimate your telescope. And it really involves adjusting 3 screws that are in the front of the secondary mirror here, and also the screws at the back that are adjusting the primary mirror. So our idea really is to get both mirrors aligned. It's not a complicated process. The first couple of times it takes some time to do, but this guy behind me over here, this big truss stub, every single time I set that up, I have to collimate it because it's not a solid tube like this one is. That one actually comes apart. So when I take it apart and try to put it back together again, it never gets tightened exactly the same every time. The poles might be in a different spot, or they might be just a quarter of a turn looser than they were the last time around, and it might have got bumped on transit. So you have to pretty well collimate a truss daub every single time you set it up. So once you start doing it, it becomes old hat. Buy a decent collimator. They can run anywhere from, I'll say, $40 to $200, depending on what you want for a collimation tool. Or you can talk to one of us if you're local, and we can probably help you collimate your scope and help you get through it the first couple of times at least. But YouTube is a great resource. Paul can testify for how much he's been on YouTube and picked up hints for astrophotography for sure. But it's a great way to make sure that you're going to get the views that you're expecting when you're outside. So it only takes a few minutes to do it. It looks very complex, but there are lots of step-by-step things, and it just takes 5 minutes to do your collimation. So that's what I would talk about. Make sure that your telescope is collimated well before you go outside and get disappointed with your views.
There we go.
Okay, next up.
All right, so buy binoculars first and then keep them handy. So if you're just new to the sky and you're just new to astronomy and you want to learn the sky, the best way to do it is naked eye. Find your constellations, learn all that stuff first. And with binoculars, you can get some absolutely amazing views. The Pleiades looks amazing in binoculars, the double cluster. I can go on and on and on about the different targets, but you can see a lot with a pair of binoculars because realistically what you're looking through are two telescopes that are just basically married together. And a lot of people now are imaging amazing things with 60 millimeter telescopes, and most binoculars that we're typically recommending are about a 50 millimeter. So in any event, get some binoculars. They're easy to carry around. There's really no collimation other than just setting them up. And you can, when you buy a set of binoculars, there's a little instructions. Will tell you how to set up your binoculars, and you can take them anywhere. And they're also awesome for the moon. The moon is amazing in binoculars. And when you're watching any kind of occultation, if you want to look at planet lineups, all that kind of stuff, all of that stuff looks really cool in binoculars because you can scan. And the other thing, of course, is the Milky Way. Nothing looks better than scanning the Milky Way on a nice, comfortable chair with a pair of binoculars. So binoculars first, and then work yourself into a telescope.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Good tip, Paul. Thanks. Yeah. We'll go from there. Your turn, Mike. You're up next.
It says check your local club in your area, and I can attest to that one. I was into astronomy for quite a while, and I had no idea there was a club in St. John. And I was, they were doing a get together or whatever at Brunswick Square. And I come down the escalators and saw this lineup of telescopes. I was like, what is this? Of course, I couldn't push people out of the way fast enough to get down and start talking to them and go, there's a club. How do I join? Because there's so much information when you join a club and you start going to meetings. Like the number one, the social aspect of it is fantastic. The people are all really, really great. You're going to see so many different types of equipment that if you didn't know what to look for, man, you get an opportunity to try just about anything you could think of because everybody's got a different telescope somehow.
Yep.
And again, the vast wealth of information that comes together when you get people together as a club or a group. You just cannot, stay away from finding out where the clubs are in your area if you're going to get into astronomy because that's how you're going to learn the very, very most. It's as simple as that. I don't think you can expand on that much further. It's just you got to do it.
Everybody who's been started in the hobby, guaranteed somebody out there has done what you're trying to do. And astronomers are happy people. All of us love to share our knowledge and to share our equipment. So it's great to get out and give that telescope a test ride before you go buy it, kind of thing too. So
absolutely.
I might say, is it my turn or is it your turn? Paul, you're up.
Your turn.
Okay, me. Okay.
You can't get away from it this time.
Next slide.
I'm always talking. Okay, next slide. Yeah. Well, before investing too much, learn the sky. That's probably one I would like to talk about anyway, because I started the wrong way. We all did. We looked up and, okay, get out, let's have a look. Hey, there's the moon. Oh, great. Oh, look, there's Venus. Great. There's Orion Nebula. Now what? Like,
Yeah.
it's overwhelming to you. You see all these things up there that are supposed to be up there, but you have no idea where to find them or anything else. So I recommend, starting with the Big Dipper and find your way to the Little Dipper. And once you do that, you're going to find, a nice snake, a Draco the dragon passing in between the two dippers, and then over to Hercules, and you start to put the story together of how the night sky fits together. But I mean, I can find St. John if I have a map of New Brunswick. So I could find the Whirlpool Galaxy if I had a map of Ursa Major. So it's that kind of thing that you have to do. But don't rush out to get the telescope right away. Learn the night sky so you're at least a little bit comfortable when you go out in the evening sky. Learn it on Stellarium if that's your way as well. I've learned an awful lot of stuff from Stellarium. Just where things are, what the ecliptic means, what kind of things are up this time of year, like the Leo cluster and the area between Leo and Virgo, Paul, like that really nice area.
I'm
even,
looking on target.
hey,
You were going to freak out. You're going to freak out.
Even Cygnus. I mean, even Cygnus is an excellent target. I'd even call for Cygnus in this time. But learning those parts of the sky, what are your summer constellations, what are your winter ones, and which ones, and what's inside that constellation that is going to give you a nice a look, the treasures that exist within it. So learn part of the sky first. Find out where things are. See if you enjoy being out for a long time before you buy a telescope. You're going to be outside for hours at a time. There's no question. You're not going to go out for 10 minutes, maybe between storms if you had to do that. But normally you're going to be out for, from 10 till 2 in the morning, say. That's not unusual, especially if you're trying to study a particular target. So you're going to have to get comfortable, like we talked about before, getting dressed warm and all that kind of thing. But is this something you really want to do before you invest $1,000 into a telescope? Is this something you really enjoy? Maybe it's just going to be binoculars in half an hour kind of thing. But so that's what I would say. Before investing too much, learn the sky. Use a star chart or an app if you want. Find where things are in the sky, and that's where I'd leave that. So, Paul?
Right. So, let me see. Consider dew. It can ruin your evening quickly if you're not prepared. So, dew for sure. It's something that you really don't think about when you're just getting into the hobby. And it can be on any optic. It doesn't have to be a telescope. It can be binoculars, it can be your eyepieces, any of that kind of stuff. Because what happens is, especially here when you're on the coast, where you get a lot of moisture in the air and you get a lot of temperature change, almost extreme temperature change from really hot days to really cool nights. So of course, it's going to form some dew. And when the dew gets on your optics, you got to clean it off. And you got to be prepared with whatever it is that you need to clean it with. You can actually prevent it from happening by using some dew. What's the word? Dew prevention. And so whether you can use the little bands and a battery to power those little bands, or the little hand warmers, there's a number of different things you can do. Mike's got some of those, I think, coffee cup warmers that you plug in with the USB for some eyepieces, camera lenses, that kind of thing. So anything that you're going to do that has optics, that's going to go from a hot day to a warm night, try to be prepared about that. You can go online, just type in dew prevention for astronomy, and you will get bombarded with videos, and you'll learn an awful lot. So yes, do be smart.
Doobie. Be a good doobie.
Be a good doobie.
It's family show. Okay, Mike, what do you got at next?
Let's see. Next on the list is check for resources, websites, books. I mean, that right off the top, before you're going to get into any hobby, I would think, is you start looking at checking out the different resources online. First thing you're going to do is Google astronomy and what it's all about. What is a telescope? How do I use one? You're going to find different websites. You're going to find different apps for your phone that you can flip through and learn stuff with. You can watch the Sunday Night Astronomy show and follow astronomy by the day. These kind of the things are going to help you learn what the night sky is all about. Why go out and buy a whole bunch of equipment and then step outside and go, something, this isn't what I'm up to. This is not something I enjoy. read about it and see if it piques your interest, number one, because you are going to spend, like Chris said, endless hours out there, looking at dots in the sky. And if that's not your thing, you shouldn't spend all that money on equipment. But if you do your research, look around different websites, books, etc., and find out that's what you want, then it just opens up the world from there. And no matter how long you've been doing this hobby, you go back in and you research stuff all the time, no matter what it is. I mean, we go back to Stellarium 100 times a week.
Yeah.
It's endless. So all you want to do is make sure you do your research first, decide if you like the hobby, number one. And if you do, again, keep on going with the research because it's never ending. You're always learning something.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Awesome. Okay. So maybe the last point I'm going to make then on our top 10 for this week, choose the easiest scope to use first. Then step up later. You'll have less frustration. There's a scope that gets out a lot more than this guy. Why is that? Because this takes a lot more to set up than this one does. So if I'm coming home from work and I look out and I see the moon or maybe Saturn, and I've got 20 minutes or half an hour, or I'm tired, I just don't want to do too much tonight, maybe I'll grab this little scope and have a quick look at the moon, where I wouldn't grab this one and take it outside to do the same thing. This one will get out for star parties or an evening event. I'm out for the whole evening, I'll take this one along. But if I'm just going to take a quick peek at something, then I'm going to grab this one. The best telescope you have is the one you use the most, right? If you've got, we can talk about the three of us right here. What do you, and this is what happens with astronomers that I've known around, you start out with something like this, you go to something like this, and then you go down to something like that again. So
yeah,
it's all wide field stuff, right? You guys have learned that. You start wide field, cheap, and then you go big, and then you go more expensive wide field. So you kind of do that curve. And there's a reason for that, because after you get to that point, you might want to just go out. Paul, you've got a 6 Celestron that you take to events for, for public outreach. It's great because you can pack it up quickly, throw it in the car, away you go. A manual mount, a 6-inch Dob is, can be just as great as an 8-inch Dob or a 10-inch Dob, and you don't have all that transporting to worry about. Portability is a big thing with a telescope. If you've got to transport a lot of gear, a bunch of suitcases to a location before you even get set up and get started, it's going to frustrate you. You're going to look at it and say, no, I'm not going to bother doing all that tonight. I'll just grab the binoculars and take a quick look. So I think choosing the easiest scope to use first and then stepping up later on, and if you're going to get serious in it, then buy a nice telescope when you can down the road, but just keep that one for full evening events kind of thing. You'll have a lot less frustration. The best scope for you is going to be the one that's the easiest to set up. That's the one you're going to like the most. I take my little 4-inch refractor. If you've been following me on Facebook and YouTube, and when I do a live feed, it's a little, actually it's a 3-inch refractor, just a 72 millimeter scope. And now I've been setting it up on a tripod, on a camera tripod, and just using slow motion controls to move it around, because if I'm offering a view of the moon, that's all I really need. Makes it very simple, load it in the car, away I go. So it's a great thing to be able to take out more often. So having something like that ready to go is what we call a grab and go scope. It's not pack and go scope, it's a grab and go scope. So you can always get started very cheaply and just start small like that. And then find it if you really like the hobby, then you can invest more seriously if you want. So okay, that would be our top 20 list, I guess, guys. So let me bring up a little review, if I could, if I can find it. Should be, let me share my screen first of all. So if I was to say a top 20 list, then it might be this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this up for a minute or two, so people might want to get a photo of it, or maybe you want to do a screen capture while we're live at the moment. So we can quickly go back down through those again. The 20 top astronomy tips. Plan your evening. Dress warm. Get a chair. Keep your dark adapt as much as possible. Keep both eyes open. Let your equipment cool down. Set up in the right location. Use averted vision if possible. Learn how to do that. Use filters to bring out more detail on planets and the moon. Get an observing log. Start an observing log. Keep notes of what you've done, what you've accomplished, what you've had trouble with along the way. You may want to pass that information on to someone else and have to go back to your log and refer to it for them. Stabilize your mount. Try to get it so it's not shaky. Lower the center of gravity of the mount. That'll keep it a lot firmer. Don't set up on a deck because every time you walk across a deck, it'll vibrate. Don't forget about the daytime sky. We have a daytime moon up. Like Mike says, we have opportunity to see planets sometimes in the sky. We have the sun up. It's very active right now. If you get yourself a nice solar filter for your telescope, or you're able to buy an H alpha telescope, you can get great views of the sun right now. Collimation is something that's really key. Keeping your telescope mirrors aligned properly so that you get the best possible view through your telescope once it cools down. Don't forget about binoculars. Keep a set of binoculars handy. Keep them close by. Even if you do buy a telescope, bring your binoculars along. You're going to want to sit down and take a look at the Milky Way. You're going to want to look at the Pleiades cluster, the moon. They're all great targets for binoculars. So if you're not sure about a telescope, start with binoculars. Learn your way around the sky. Check for local clubs. We have a St. John Astronomy Club here in town. There are 3 clubs actually in the province. In most provinces, or all provinces, I will say. I think even PI does now. Every province has a local astronomy club. Get in touch with those people. They'll help you out, get you started. Learn the sky. Learn the sky before you invest in a telescope. Get out, take a look at the constellations. Find out which ones are around. How do I find my way from the Big Dipper to the Little Dipper? Star hop. That's one I guess we didn't really cover. But star hopping means that you're moving from one star to another. If you take the last 2 stars in the pot of the Big Dipper and you follow them straight up, you're going to hit the star Polaris, which is the North Star. That's the first star in the handle of the Little Dipper. That's what I mean by star hopping, finding your way around the sky by jumping from one place to another. Consider dew. Dew is always going to be a problem for you. Make sure that you consider it when you're going out to observe. Check for local resources and check for resources online. There's lots of great websites out there, NASA and spaceweather.com, all kinds of websites that are really dedicated to astronomy, and you can find out lots of information there. YouTube is a great resource as well. When I want to find out how to do something, I go to YouTube myself to find it. There's lots of books out there that are available, even through RASC itself, including the one that I'm going to offer here tonight for a prize. And choose the easiest scope to use. That's the one that you're going to use the most. So make sure that it's not a big effort to go outside and use a telescope, because if it is a big effort, you're not going to do it as often. Okay, guys?
Just one note on the dew too. Somebody mentioned that dew ruined their shot last weekend. And for anybody who's just going to do their first star trail, going to do their first time lapse, and it happened, I think, to every one of us, is you set the camera up, you go inside, and you wait your few hours to come back out, and all of a sudden, your beautiful crystal sky starts to go a little foggier, and then all of a sudden it's all gone, and you've lost all of that data just simply because you didn't, you weren't up on the dew. So do your due diligence.
There you go. Wah, wah.
Wow.
It can even just use those small chemical heating pads. Put a bunch of them in a bag and take them with you, because they come in really. They're as handy as I won't mention, because Mike mentioned that in his next talk. another thing. So yeah. Anyway, okay. Let's go from there now to what do we have next? Gee, I had it all written down. We're going to do Macgyver. Macgyver's
I
next.
think it's Macgyver.
It's Macgyver time.
So
Our premier segment of Macgyver.
Da, 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 da.
Da, da, da.
my entire screen. I think this is the one I want to look at, and hopefully we'll have
You do?
a bubble guy with brains. So you might ask where this Macgyver comes from. I don't know myself. I just, all of a sudden get this nickname because I have a strange tendency to try to find a cheaper way to to do astronomy than just going out and buying the normal stuff. And just a quick example, and I'll start with it as my Macgyver tip of the week this week. It's something simple. It's called, what is a desiccant cap? Now, a lot of people out there may not even heard of it, but if you have an enclosed telescope like a Spitz-Cassegrain or a refractor style telescope, as long as the night skies are clear, the chances are you'll be able to run outside and be out there under them. Unfortunately, if moisture forms on your telescope optics, it can obscure your views of the night sky. It can also cause mold and fungi to form over time if left unclean. So that can cost you hundreds or even thousands of dollars to replace, damaged equipment with or corrector plates or lenses or things like that. A desiccant cap and desiccant packs can reduce the risk by soaking up that moisture, leaving your telescope mold-free for those worry-free nights. And that's exactly what it is. It's a desiccant cap that you can purchase. The lowest price one I found Canadian was $61.44. And it's an aluminum cap that goes into where your eyepiece would go, just like an eyepiece cap. And it has desiccant bags inside of it. Well, being Macgyver, there's a way to save your money and make your own. And it is really, really simple. Look around through your Value Village stores or your Sally Ann's, and I'll guarantee you'll find a bag or two that has some old 35 millimeter film canisters in it. So what do you need? You need a 35 millimeter film canister. You need a 1/8 inch drill bit, or even a hot poker will do the same thing. Desiccant bags that you get from your pill bottles or those electronic items you ordered online, they all have a desiccant bag in them that come. And then about 10 minutes of your time, no more. How do I make it? Well, the first thing you're going to do is take the bottom portion of the 35 millimeter film canister itself, and you're going to drill between 3 and 5 1/8 inch holes on the bottom right in here. And that's going to let the air from the inside of your scope into the 35 millimeter film canister. You're going to take one of those little desiccant bags that you got from your pill bottle or your electronics. You're going to shove it down inside the film canister. Then you're going to put the cap back on. Then you're going to place that canister right into your 1.25 eyepiece holder, and guess what? You are done. You now have a desiccant eyepiece that's going to keep the moisture out of your optical tube. Simple as that, and it costs you pennies. In fact, the desiccant is usually free, and you can even regenerate it in a microwave. Alone. And you got it finding an old 35 millimeter film canister. That's cost you nothing. It's a fraction of the cost of going out and buying an official desiccant cap. So moisture is the enemy of any delicate optic. And with desiccant caps, you can protect your telescope from moisture getting into or collecting inside a closed optical tube assembly, or OTA, such as a refractor, a catadioptric design. These things tend to trap moisture on the inside. Even you've been out all night, the dew doesn't necessarily just collect on the outside. It can get on the inside as well. This cap replaces a simple standard dust cap, and you can usually use it at the 1.25 inch end of your focuser draw tube or visual back. The added benefit of absorbing that moisture is going to keep your scope in good condition. That's my Macgyver tip of the week.
Awesome.
Thank you, Mike. Great start. And it's not that Mike's cheap. It's the fact that Mike likes to spend his money on other targets, on other items. That's all. So if you can
And
save.
he's a fun guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm cheap.
Okay. I was trying to save you there. You have $10 to spend. Do you want to spend it on an eyepiece, or do you want to spend it on something cheap and then buy a better eyepiece? So that's the kind of idea, I guess. Anyway, it all works out.
What do you see what he does with the buttercup?
Yeah, that's coming.
Somebody's asking, how often would you change the packs? Again, 90% of desiccant you can renew in a microwave in 2 minutes. Put it in a microwave, run it for 2 minutes, take it out, let it cool, then it's dry again. You can reuse them, if that helps.
Okay, awesome. I'm not seeing any comments here on YouTube tonight, but just comments saying hello and stuff. So no questions yet so far on YouTube. A few on Facebook that we've been answering right along the way. So
yeah,
good. Okay, let's go to let's do Rosanna's fun fact. Right. Well, welcome back to Rosanna.
Yes.
Hey.
We used to last week, Rosanna. So let me just share my screen. See if I can make it so. Number one, our screen, and this is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey!
You missed her.
Yeah.
No, we did.
Yeah.
We missed you. We missed you, Rosanna, and we are so glad you're back and so glad that you're offering up your amazing fun facts that you do for us every week since we started this program. And again, thank you so, so much.
Mhm.
Okay, so this week's Rosanna's fun fact is, well, like they're all really cool, but I just seem to like them more every week. I don't know why. So she says, hi, Paul, warning, put on your bunny ears as this is a series of rabbit holes. Historians have the knack of looking back through history, plucking out various events starting what should have seen, what have seen this or that coming. Now, look at how many meteors we miss every day, the daily average being 17. Hindsight is easily 2020, and somehow looking back in time brings seemingly unrelated things together. For instance, for instance, a few years ago, an astounding discovery was made on the Tibetan plateau. The plateau has a special type of limestone called travertine, which builds up around mineral springs. Now, the travertine is initially soft enough to hold impressions that will eventually harden after the spring changes course over time. Some children left deliberate hand and footprints in the soft travertine, and who could blame them? The temptation to leave marks strikes most of us when strolling down fresh concrete. So true. Researchers have used uranium dating to try to pinpoint when these impressions were made. Now, this is the image you're seeing on the screen. Uranium decays to thorium, and at known rate, and examining the trace amounts of uranium and thorium in calcium carbonate, deposits such as travertine provides an accurate, if approximate date back in time. The date of these fun moments of play in squishy carbonate happens to be approximately 226,000 years ago.
Wow.
That's unbelievable. So the real cool thing about humans using uranium today, besides about 10% of Earth's uranium being used to provide electricity, is the fact that all of Earth's uranium is thought to have been produced in one or more supernova over 6 billion years ago. A second, more recent theory suggests that some uranium is formed in the merge of neutron stars. But either way, the uranium on our planet came from a star in the universe. Did not know that. But let's get back to Tibet, which could be said to be the stargazing at the roof of the world. This is the picture of the Milky Way over Yamdorsko, right there. That's just unbelievable. Yamdorsko Lake. So this is actually a picture over a big lake. Due to its high altitude and dark sky, the stars in the Milky Way are not ivory and white, but a colorful river of red, gold, and blue. One can't help but wonder if those same children who played in the travertine looked up at a night sky that hasn't changed all that much in 226,000 years. Now, neither Heavens Above nor Stellarium could provide a constellation map that far back, but here is the sky chart Earth Day, April 22nd, 2022, and at 7:42 p.m., there, which is 8:42 here on the Tibetan Plateau. Now, here is the sky chart in Apahawk of April 22nd, 2022 at 7:49 for comparisons. And if you look at them, what I noticed on it was Chris's favorite constellation, Cygnus, was there, but disappears. Whoops, was there, but disappeared. Yeah,
Great,
like
great.
I'm thinking, I'm liking that time frame. So there's a dark sky preserve in Negri in Tibet, and it plans for the construction of a wide field survey telescope, the WFST, a 2.5 meter optical telescope, an observatory to be built on that plateau. Now, not only does the elevation provide clearer views, but according to 30 years worth of weather records, this site sees just 0.71 inches, 18 millimeters of precipitation a year and 3,500 hours of sunshine. So work is scheduled to begin this year, and that would be the site.
Wow.
So while exploration down in the ground and up in the sky over Tibet continues, fairly recently, a dig site in North Dakota has unearthed a chaotic jumble of animals and plant fossils rolled together in a sediment dump by waves of river water set in motion by unimaginable earth tremors, tremors worse than the dune worm. Now, aquatic organisms, and I'm going to try to blow that up a bit. Aquatic organisms are mixed in with the land-based creatures. Surprisingly, tiny pieces of the asteroid that hit Mexico and created the Chicxulub, I can't pronounce that, sorry, crater, have been found. Now, North America, this was 66, let me just shrink that back down. This was 66 million years ago. And this source came from Rod Blakeney from Colorado Plateau Geosystems. It was the sturgeon and the paddlefish in a fossil tangle that were the key. They have small particles stuck in their gills, and the spherules were molten rock kicked back from the impact of the asteroid. They then fell back across the planet. The fish would have breathed in the particles as they entered the river. The spherules, whoops, let me get that right there. I'm going to try to show that in a sec. The spherules, where they go, have been linked chemically and are radiometric, dating to the Mexican impact location. And two of the particles recovered from preserved tree resin, and let me give you that, are also tiny inclusions that imply an extraterrestrial origin. I suspect these fossils, although only 66 million years old, might just give the 4.5 billion year old Fukang meteorite, the rarest meteorite ever found, a run for the money. So even digging down into the planet eventually leads us up into looking into the universe. Oh my gosh, that is just amazing. Such amazing, interesting information. And that is this week's
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey!
That's awesome. She's always got such cool stuff.
I don't know where she comes up with it. I don't know where she comes up with it, but she's always got a fascinating
Always
topic.
got cool stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just unbelievable.
Thank you once again, Rosanna, for another.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yes, and welcome back. Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, let's go from there to our What's Up this week category or segment or whatever. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's take a look at what's coming up this week in the night sky. What's up this week? Just a few slides to show. Of course, right now, you've got the planet parade still happening all month. And actually, it'll be happening right into June, because in June we'll have a part of the show again. So Monday...
Chris, your video's not up.
Oh, it's not? Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Hang on, Paul. Absolutely. I didn't share my screen. Give me a second here. There we go. Let's do a share screen.
I see it on Facebook now.
Okay. Let's try that again.
All right.
Let's go back to a What's Up. Slideshow from beginning. There, we got it this time.
There you go.
Okay. Anyway, a few things to show throughout the week. First of all, again, is the planet parade that's still happening in the morning sky. We're just now getting a chance to catch Jupiter up above the horizon, but you've got to get up earlier and earlier because the day is getting longer. Each one, we add a few minutes of daylight. So tomorrow morning, look to east-southeast to catch our waning crescent moon as it greets the ring beauty Saturn and the red planet Mars. So this morning it was sitting over beside Saturn. Now it's between Saturn and Mars both. Now it's going to get into a nice crescent phase. The moon will be well into its crescent phase at only 29% illuminated by the sun tomorrow. Let's move on to Tuesday. The moon greets Mars and Venus. So on Tuesday, look to the east-southeast at the same time for a viewing of our crescent moon as it greets both Mars and dazzling Venus. 5:30 is noted in the image, but 5:15 would work better if you can get up that early. I know it's talking early, and we're going to get earlier as we move closer to June as well. And then, of course, on Wednesday, we've got the moon, Jupiter, and Venus all making a beautiful celestial triangle there. So the moon ends its visit with the planets as a slim crescent and forms a beautiful celestial trio with Jupiter and Venus. Our moon is the second brightest object in the sky, followed by Venus at number 3 and Jupiter at number 4. So this part of the show should be pretty spectacular. Looks like a happy face, only turned on the side.
Yes, sir.
So I guess it's not a happy face. All right.
Smirky face.
More like a smirky face. There you go.
Yeah, smirky face.
Also on Wednesday, Neptune and Venus. If you haven't caught Neptune in a telescope before, this is a good chance to be able to catch it. The gas giant Neptune will appear just 0.1 of a degree away from Venus from our perspective. So 0.1 of a degree, the moon is a half a degree. So that's pretty close. If you've never seen Neptune, this make it easier. Through a telescope, Neptune appears as a blue fuzzy ball. You can tell it's not a star, but you can't really pick out any detail. This looks like a soft ball. Neptune is about 4.47 billion kilometers from the sun, so that's why it just appears as a tiny dot. But it's nice to say that you saw it anyway. Move ahead to Friday now. Mercury's at its greatest elongation. So on Friday, look to the west-northwest for little Mercury as it reaches its greatest elongation, or the farthest from the sun that it can reach in its orbit. This is at sunset, of course. Mercury never drifts very far from the sun, it taking only 88 days to orbit around it. So if you don't get many chances to see or try and spot it in our sky, so this is a great time to try to get it. It's probably going to be that's at 9:30 local time. So you've got some time there. You got a couple hours really to pick it out. And the darker it gets, the more it's going to stand out. It's not very bright, not as bright as Venus is for sure, but it's still nice to say that you've caught it. I don't know what phase it's at right now, but the two inner planets, Mercury and Venus, both offer us phases just like the moon. So something to try for. And that's going to be actually the best evening apparition for the whole year. Also, this is a nice one. On Friday, not only is Mercury going to be at its greatest elongation, but you're also going to be able to witness Mercury as it visits the beautiful Pleiades star cluster in Taurus. So the celestial grouping is perfect to view through binoculars. In fact, the Pleiades appear best through binoculars, as they will both fit in the same field of view of 10 by 50. So there's the view of 10 by 50s right there. About 7-degree field of view. They'll both be side by side. The Pleiades is a star cluster of about 800 young stars, about 440 light years from Earth. Now, a lot of people thought that was a Little Dipper, but it does appear like a Little Dipper, but beautiful in binoculars. So two great targets for binoculars on Friday. On Saturday, we've got the conjunction of Jupiter and Venus coming up. So we got a lot of things happening with the planets over the last little while and going to continue right into May and June. We get another special treat on Saturday as a giant planet Jupiter and dazzling Venus meet each other in the east-southeast morning sky. Jupiter and Venus will appear to be less than a half of a degree. It says 0.2, but it's really less than half of a degree, or less than the width of the full moon apart. Of course, they're much farther apart in reality. It's just our perspective from here on Earth. Stand on any other world in the solar system, and the view would be quite different. But happy to get the chance to witness the display from here. So that should be quite nice if we get a clear sky on next Saturday morning. So you'll get Jupiter and some of its moons and bright Venus in the eyepiece at the same time. And in a pair of binoculars at the same time, depending on the eyepiece, but binoculars for sure. So here's the dance leading up to and after the meeting of Jupiter and Venus, and we can see how celestial mechanics work. This is Jupiter moving in on Venus on Thursday. Friday, they're getting even closer. There they are Saturday, very close. And what's happening then is Jupiter is actually passing by Venus, and Jupiter will start to separate away from Venus. So Jupiter's catching up to Venus. It's going to catch it and then pass it and keep going. In June, actually, we're going to add a few more planets in the sky. Mercury's going to join this show in the morning sky, along with Uranus and Neptune. So we know Neptune's already there, and so is Uranus, actually. But when Mercury joins the show, that means all 7 planets are lined up in the morning sky. And the moon is going to join them at the end of June. So there's a big show. But now think about June. You're going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to catch it then. Saturday, April 30th, Mercury, the Pleiades, and possibly a comet. Now, this is a possible one. This one may be tough, but with a decent-sized telescope, you might catch it. Comet C 2021-03 Pan-STARRS is in our evening sky, but at a magnitude 10.6, so that's a tough one. You're going to need at least an 8-inch telescope to spot it, especially under the early evening sky. Still, it's worth a try. They are expecting this comet to brighten somewhat over the next few weeks. We'll have to wait for more data. There's another comet that we're looking at even better. That's not going to be quite NEO-wise, but we're really not sure yet. This is the thing about comets. Someone said, I think it was David Levy said, comets are like cats. They have a long tail and they do what they want. So that's what happens with comets. We really can't predict what they're going to happen, what they're going to be like as they go around the sun. Sometimes they shed off a whole lot of material and they get a brand new surface there that is gassing off into space. Other times they get broken up into pieces. So it's just a roll of the dice basically. But try for that maybe next Saturday. If you're just going to pan around the sky anyway, take a look down to see if you can pick out Comet 03 Pan-STARRS. And you can get this, all of the photos that I grab here, all the images I grab here, are off of the program Stellarium. So I always just take that, screen capture it, put my notes in it, and put it up. So these would be familiar. If you went into the Stellarium program, you're going to find out the same information that I'm showing you here. Of course, I always go back to Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy and More, at Ruby Moonbeams. You can find her on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And Lisa always gives us the events for the month. There's the month of April, leading right through the peak times of the events, the special events that we can see. Here she's talking about consider visibility. That means that you're not going to get a very great view because it's going to be fairly early in the morning, just before dawn. But she puts the seeing tools here as well, naked eye view, binocular view, and telescope view. So she lays that all out for us. That's a great chart. I always go to it every What's Up talk, and I keep referring to it when I build my What's Up talk. So great job, Lisa. Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy and More at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So give her a like. And St. John Astronomy Club has our own club that we mentioned. That's our website, sjastronomy.ca. This is the map from April to May. To the end of May, or middle May, I guess, made up by Kurt, our resident expert on this stuff. And he's put the dates down, so you can go to the website, download this map, and stick it on your desktop and take a look at what's happening over the next little while. And that's about it. So we'll stop presenting.
Awesome.
That's what's up this week.
Lots going on in the night sky.
Busy week. Lots of planetary stuff happening. That's the whole key.
Yeah.
And,
I was up at 5:30 this morning, 5 o'clock actually.
Okay.
And I had a look at Venus, and all the way over on the far left, the moon was just coming up. And I could see a couple of small planets, but they were very hard for me to see. But wow, what a treat.
What a nice lineup to see them right across the sky like that, all following the ecliptic. Right? So,
Interesting that they're all over on one side of the sky, and yet we're not being pulled away from the sun.
well, that's because it's hard to pull a flat Earth.
True.
If we were a
Can't get a
ball,
grip on it,
if we were a ball, it would probably be easier. But since we're flat,
Gotcha.
yeah, gravity can't grab us on top and bottom as easy. So. We'll leave that alone.
Yeah.
I just say it.
Yeah, just saying. Okay, there's our What's Up talk for the week. We're gonna do a Bino Bud, I think, next.
Bino Bud?
Yep.
I'll have to throw some stuff around here. Ooh.
I'm gonna let you carry on, Mike. I just got to step for a second. I'll be right back.
No worries. I want to share a partial screen, which is the entire screen. Hit share, and we should have a Bino Bud coming up on the screen.
We do.
This is going to be nothing fancy, but it is Binocular Target of the Week by Bino Bud. We all know it. Messier 81 and 82.
Yes.
Some people say I see more like Smidge and Smudge. Saying that, that's the Pleiades. Oh, well. M81 and 82 fit easily into a 5-degree field of view of binoculars and offers nice contrast. M81, known as Bode's Nebula, is the easier of the pair to see in a small pair of binoculars, but both are both easy objects in a pair of 10 by 50s, with M81 clearly showing a very bright nucleus and M82 appearing bright but molted along its long axis, giving rise to the common name, the Cigar Galaxy. So where do I find it in the sky? Well, we're going to look for the Big Dipper tonight. As soon as you go outside and it's dark, look up. Everybody knows the shape of the Big Dipper. It's probably the most known constellation of them all next to Orion. And if you looked virtually straight up when it got dark, because that's where it's going to be, right above your head, and you look up and you find these two stars in the pot, and you line them up and you go the exact same distance across outside of it, and guess what? You're going to hit M81 and M82. It's virtually impossible to miss. Just line those two stars up, keep on going the same distance, and you run into it. What will you see? Well, you won't quite see this, but it's going to be close. There's M81, M82 in a pair of 10 by 50 binoculars. This is actually more or less what it's going to look like. You got some bright stars, but you will spot M81 and M82. This one will be round, and this one will be cigar-shaped. Maybe like a cigar-shaped UFO. I don't know. Compared to the full moon, well, they're about the distance of the full moon apart. So easily will fit in your 10 by 50 binoculars without question. You'll know when you're on them. I mean, you go across the sky, they're the two things that aren't round when you look up. That's a simple way of putting it. And everything looks so small from the challenged people.
Yeah.
And we've seen that before, in all honesty.
Oh my God.
So that's Binocular Target of the Week by Bino Bud.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike.
No worries.
Another great one. Remember, you can always go back and look at some of these episodes on YouTube or Facebook, because I keep them all up if you want to look at some of the other binocular targets that we've talked about in the past. Also, from here, I think we're going to do our Paul's astrophotography tip of the week.
Yes.
You're
Okay.
up, Paul.
I'm going to try this as my first go at this. So let's see what happens. So let me see if I can do this, number one. Share. And when I do that, can I find what I need to find? No, I can't. Darn. Try it this way. Okay. Here, there's supposed to be some theme music to it. Let's go like this. And it's not working. Okay. I knew it.
There it goes.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh, that little pleasant music is the starting of the astro imaging tip of the week. And this week, let's put that on pause. I am going to stop sharing for a moment because I have to share another screen, to be honest. So again, pardon my messing up here. I just got to find where we are. Is that us? There we go. All right. And entire screen, and this one here, share. Okay. So what the tip of the week is for astro imaging is look at your subframes before you start stacking them up. And this could go anywhere. This means that people who went out and shot, I don't know, maybe if you want to do a whole bunch of images for star trails, you've done a whole bunch of time lapse and all that kind of stuff. Or if you're actually taking pictures of deep sky objects, have a look at your subs really closely before you actually start stacking them together. And I'm going to show you why. Now, I'm using the example I'm using here is PixInsight, and they have a system in there called Blink. All that simply means is I'm able to load my files into this tool here, and if I want to, I can actually make this big enough so I can see nice and deep into my object, and I'm looking for imperfections. Now, if I want to go one thing at a time, I can just go click, 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 and watch, and you're going to see that each one of these moves So that confirms that my dithering is working. And now what do you see here? A lot of cases, people would see these trails and say, you know what am I going to do with that? I got these trails going through my image. If you're stacking them up, not to be a video, but you're just stacking them up to be a master light frame, if you use the right algorithm, all of that stuff will disappear. So if you're using more than, say, 10 to 12 images that you're stacking up, then if you so long as you use something like Windsor Sigma clipping or Sigma clipping for your rejection algorithms, that'll clear all this stuff out. So don't throw those frames away. So that's one thing to look for. The other thing you keep looking for are stars that are not round. And a lot of times what happens there, and here's a prime example of it. Let me get a little bigger in. Your stars start to look like eggs. That could be your guiding doing that on a couple of 2 or 3 or 4 frames. It could be wind gusts that come up, that kind of stuff. So sometimes if you're trying to stack an image and you've got some really bad elongations or stars that look like every one of them has 2 stars, that's usually what you see from a wind gust. Those frames you probably have to throw away. If you don't look at your frames, like blow them up and look at them, you may miss that, and they may degrade the quality of your master light. The other things that you want to keep an eye out for are clouds. Sometimes clouds will move in when you're imaging, and if you're not watching the whole thing, I go to sleep at night and let it run all night, and I get up in the morning, and I have to go through them all because we may have had a bank of clouds that come in, and that'll totally run a bunch of frames bad for me. So I got to get rid of those. Again, guiding issues. Did your focus change? Your focus changes a lot when you're going from those really drastic temperature changes, and you can see it in your stars. If all of a sudden you got these really beautiful, nice, tight stars, and then all of a sudden 2 frames later they get big. Well, what's happened is your focus has shifted. So now you're going to have to take those little tiny stars, and if you didn't pay attention to doing what I'm saying, your stars may not be as small as you want them to be. So you can star shrink them, yes, but if you don't have to do that in the first place, look at your frames beforehand. If you're doing mono imaging where you're using multiple filters, some filters may be just perfect, other filters may not. You may have run into any of these problems in and out through any one of those filters. So again, have a look at all your frames in that manner. And these findings will help you choose the keepers, which ones you're going to keep for your stack and which ones that you can not keep. For example, if you look at this, some people may look at that frame and say, you know what, look at the vignetting in the corners. What am I going to do with that? Well, if you do your calibration frames, that will be looked after too. So you don't have to throw away a lot of this stuff. Educate yourself on ways to mitigate this while you're taking the images. And then once you've got your images, before you put them in a stack, take a good hard look at them. It will save you some trouble down the road when you're trying to actually process it. And that is my astro imaging tip of the week.
Awesome, Paul.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great stuff. All good stuff to know. When you're in that type of work, which is what it is for you, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But
It
the results
is.
are fascinating. Yeah. You can.
But the thing is, like I said, even if you're just doing star trails or if you're doing Milky Way shots, all of that stuff, where you're taking multiple images, even with the camera and a tripod, don't trust the little screen on the back of your camera, because
Right.
you know what happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you get them home, get it on a screen. Make sure that the tripod didn't get kicked for one of them, and all that kind of stuff. So this really is good advice for any kind of stacking that you're going to do, regardless of what the origin of the image is.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go from there. Then we're going to go to some photos, I guess, next. Photo submissions for the week, and then I'm going to bring up a little clip that I have for the moon contest, because we're going to do our draw for the moon contest right at the end. Somebody commented here saying no video, but I think we're up live. It looks like we're okay.
Yeah, I'm watching it. Yeah.
Okay. So let me go to photos, and just be a second. Get the right category, the right screen to share. We'll go to this one. And hopefully these will pop up in the right spot. Let's take a look here. Hey, there we go.
There you go.
I think we're good. Am
Yep.
I seeing it on Facebook and YouTube both?
I'm just waiting for it to come up on Facebook.
Yeah, it should there soon. Should catch up here.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this picture, this was from Duckman Arsenault, and he gave us a photo of the moon at
Nice.
just a daytime moon, I guess, just a little around third quarter.
I love a daytime moon.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Yep. There you go. So we have an opportunity to shoot the moon in the daytime, what we talked about a little bit earlier. There's another shot that he offered us.
Nice.
And this one's comes from Winston Koch. Another capture.
Yeah.
Beauty.
Really nice.
Nice stuff. Angela Michaud sent this one in. She said chasing the sunset on her way home from Fredericton. So she knows I like sunset shots. So there's a couple of sunset
window.
shots. Yeah, nice, huh?
Nice.
Yeah, there they all. Good stuff. Thank you, Angela.
Cool.
Now, I don't know whether I've shown these ones before, and what happened with my computer is I had some issues with it that it had to be wiped and started over again. So I may have lost the files. I may have lost the idea that I had actually shared them. But Jamie Wynot's photos are going to come up next, and these may have been back from March, but I couldn't remember if I shared them or not. So I'm going to share them anyway. Why not? Jamie, why not? Yeah. Why not?
Exactly.
That wasn't meant to be said that way. Anyway. She said, I took these photos of the 21% waxing crescent moon, and the photo of the Orion Nebula was taken back on March the 27th. So I know that's a little while ago, but it's worth bringing them up again anyway. So here's her.
Oh, yeah.
Orion.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Both, she said, were taken with her iPhone 8 attached to the eyepiece. So, Jamie, if I didn't show those before, I'm glad I did tonight. Anyway, the photos do come in from several different addresses, and I got to be sure that I check them all every day. Now, this one came in from Brad Perry. He said, here's a photo I took last Saturday morning of the full moon setting in Fredericton. The photo I was intending to take would have happened 2 minutes after this one. I used Photo Pills and Planet Pro to perfectly set myself up to catch the moon directly behind the cell tower on the right. He said, well, despite being certain I had it in the bag, the second image I've included shows what happened in the final moments of the moon's descent.
Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. But that's still a pretty cool moon.
The whole sequence of images is awesome.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
He said, I had to laugh at my misfortune on this one. Brad, we've been there, done that, and
Yep.
you got good results, so I wouldn't worry about that. Good stuff.
Well done.
And he congratulated us on our expansion to Rogers, so thank you for that. From there, we're going to go to Jeff Legier. And Jeff said, although I was able to see each planet individually, I was unable to capture them all at the same time. So that's
Again, been there, done that too.
It's been a difficult season for observing, for sure. He said, keep in mind that I did see each through a little 76 millimeter Dob mounted on a camera tripod in the city Harvey Center Dog Park, Fredericton. He said, you don't need dark skies for everything. And he's right there.
It's nice. It's nice how she captured the light in the windows.
This one, yeah, Bridget. This is from Bridget Green. She says, hey, Chris, I rarely find myself uptown these days, but happened to be driving around King Square on Tuesday evening. Stopped to catch a shot just with a cell phone of the waxing crescent moon above the lovely glow of the St. John City Market. So that's,
Yes, sir.
yeah, so she's
Nice
in the contest with that. Well done. Just have the right space, right time, right? Sometimes that's what it is. Kathy Adams grabbed this. I grabbed this one from Kathy's display there on Astro Imaging channel. Today's sun with lots of sunspots. Look at them.
Yeah, it's been busy.
It's been busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we know we're quite a ways into the solar cycle now because the sunspots usually start up in this area, when we're just beginning the cycle. But as the cycle moves on, they get closer to the equator. So we're heavy into it there now for sure. And that's awesome.
Nice shot.
Well done, Kathy.
Nice to see the sun like that again. This is another one Kathy offered up.
Sweet. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Beauty shot, yeah.
Yeah. Nice artistic. look at the sun.
This one's from Kathy Keith. She said sun yesterday with her new lens.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice work,
You got
Kathy.
it, Kathy.
Sure.
You got it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, great
It
job.
works good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't work real good.
Okay, we're gonna go from there to Jason Dane. Look at this shot. Yeah. M51A and M51B are a pair of interacting galaxies in the constellation Canis Venatici. Its distance from Earth is estimated at 31 million light years. It was discovered in 1781 by Pierre Méchain. These spiral nebula were not recognized as galaxies until Edwin Hubble was able to observe the Cepheid variables in some of these spiral nebula, which provided evidence that they were so far away that they must be entirely separate galaxies. Now, this is the first galaxy I attempted to image with my DSLR and birding lens, and is probably my favorite one out there. I left the view a little wider than most to show some of the IFN in the area, as well as some of the smaller galaxies in the vicinity. Yes, there are some smaller galaxies.
There's lots around it, yeah.
Look at them, yeah.
Oh, it's all kinds of them around there, yeah.
Those integration time was close to 34 hours, 4 hours in each channel, RGB, 9 hours HI, or H alpha, I guess, and 13 hours of LUM. Paul, you might know what that means.
That's luminance.
Thank you.
Luminance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Telescope
It's
Skywatcher Esprit 100 ED Apo. Imaging camera ZWO ASI 2600 mm Pro. Guiding Skywatcher EVO guide scope with ZWO ASI 1200 or 120 mm camera. Filter was an Optolong HA LRGB, and the mount is a Skywatcher EQ6R Pro. Calibrations, flats and flat darks, hardware control ASI Air Pro, Pegasus Power Box, and ZWO EAF. Processing was pre-processed and processed using PixInsight. Amazing. I mean,
Nice work.
this is where we are today. You know, we're at this kind of caliber, right? Just amateur astronomers. Like,
The equipment sounds like you're from NASA.
yeah, that's true, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic work.
Stuart's saying, okay, am I losing it, or do I hear spring peepers calling in the background? Absolutely, Stuart, you do.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
don't mind them, I'll keep them going. If you'd rather me close my window, I can do that as well. But that's what I listen to from now till September.
You got good ears, Stuart.
Yeah, you do. But my microphone's pretty good, I guess. Anyway, let's go from there to what do we have next? Chris Benoit.
Nice.
Nice.
I got these
Yeah.
captures of his shots of the sun. I don't know if I have his notes. No, I don't. But let's continue on here through another couple that he.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
There we go. Look at that. So yeah.
Now you're getting in there. The umbra and penumbra is just stand right out.
Great.
Yep. Here it is
Again,
colored.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really
Awesome.
nice.
Great shots, Chris. From there, we got a couple from David Simard as well. Here's David's sun on a cloudy morning, cloudy
Yeah.
afternoon, maybe.
Add some drama. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been getting some good shots lately.
He has been getting
Oh
some
my
really good
goodness,
shots. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So these are his shots, and here's this moon shot the other day. Third
Yes,
quarter,
sir.
so.
Right on.
Very nice.
Now, I got this one from Braden. Thank you for those, David. Always great to get a bunch of your shots. Braden Wilson so this one, he says, just a beginner, caught this the other night. So good stuff, Braden.
Well done.
For a beginner shot. Not
Absolutely.
bad at all. Kathy Shaw, beautiful spring sky. She sent this one in and this one as well. So,
Wow.
you know, it doesn't always have to be astronomy. A sunset, a
Ryan,
sunrise is still just as nice, and in that target there, yeah, she had a Ryan in
yeah.
there, so yeah,
Ryan.
that's perfect.
That's
Yeah,
incredible.
Yep. Beautiful.
but even nice sunset shots like that are beautiful.
Well, that sky, that whole color of that sky, that is just such a magical time of night.
It is.
Yeah. Lisa's lookup, she had the sun through two different telescopes, white light filter and the H alpha filter. I can't
Right
quite
on.
read the writing there, but she was focusing on both areas, I guess, to compare the two of them together, so you can
Yeah.
see sunspots through both scopes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, I hope I got this one right. This next one is from Paul Crowder. Paul, I was going to show your photograph last week. You had sent me a CR2 file. I didn't have the ability to open it on the computer that I was using, so I had to go to something else And that's what I was running away for tonight, to get the photo up to myself to show it here this evening. So here's his photo. Paul said greetings from the UK, and he said happy Easter. Very quick capture of the sun today through hazy skies. Those emerging sun spots could become very interesting in the coming days. Captured with a 400 to 800 millimeter lens, set at 400 millimeter with a Canon 1000D camera using live view settings and DSLR controller app.
Right on.
Awesome.
Very nice.
There, I'm
Very
glad I
nice.
got that one as well. I was busily working in the background trying to get that one up there, so I'm glad I was able to offer. So thank you for that, Paul. Okay, and from there, we've got really two addresses. I had been informed that my address here at the bottom might not be working every time, so I'm going to put the other address up as well. So you can send in your photos to either SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com. I will continue to check that address. Or if you can too, try SNAS, which is a little bit shorter, at astronomybythebay.ca. And I'll be checking for both of those. So thank you everyone for your photo submissions.
Well, yeah.
It was
Gorgeous
awesome.
stuff.
Yep.
Okay, we're getting into a little bit later now, I know, but we've got a moon contest to draw for right now too. So we did run a little bit long tonight, but we've had a lot of stuff to cover. Hopefully that's okay with everybody. So let's go to our moon contest.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey! And I got a little bit of a video, I think, here to share with you. So let me get it brought up here. Should be right here. I'm going to share my screen first of all. And we won't be much longer, folks. Just this video. We're going to do our draw and then we'll do our closing. So let me get this down to the right screen. Let's try this. Here we go.
Well done.
Oh,
Nice, huh? There. So I want to thank everybody for the entries. That was awesome to get a bunch of entries like that. Always great to be able to offer the contest along. First of all, I guess I should talk again about our prizes. If you just bear with me for a second.
We got prizes.
Yeah, we got prizes. So let me share my screen again. And we'll just talk a minute about those. So, of course, that's the contest. Shoot the moon and the planets too is what I was asking for. If you shot a capture of the moon or you were able to capture a planet, which we've had in the morning sky for quite a while, it's been great. These are the 4 prizes that we are offering. The Night Sky Almanac book by Nicole Modulero. It's a month-to-month guide to the North American skies from the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. I have 4 of those to give away tonight. And also, we have this, the 2-hour private star party for up to 10 people, offered by Stéphane Picard of Cliff Valley Astronomy. So his slogan is, "We make memories out of this world." So the terms for the deal are here. Cliff Valley Astronomy is excited to donate a 2-hour private star party package for 10 people as part of the ABTV Sunday Night Astronomy Show's Shoot the Moon contest. Like and share on Facebook at cliffvalleyastronomy@gmail.com. Cliff Valley Astronomy is a proud supporter of ABTV, and we do appreciate that. Now, the conditions, it's valued at $200. No exchange for services or cash. Prize must be used in the 2022 calendar year. The winner must be in Southern New Brunswick for actual in-person prize redemption. A winner outside this area will be offered a 2-hour virtual private star party in lieu of. So,
Wow.
yeah, awesome. I mean, you're going to have a birthday party or a family reunion or whatever. You've got an opportunity now to bring somebody out that has telescopes and gear and can offer some great views of the night sky. So,
Stefan will put on a wonderful show for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Really
Yep. That's our grand prize this evening. So let's get started then with our draws. So I got in here in my special bowl the contest entries.
The big bowl.
Big bowl. So one of you guys want to make the first draw?
You're closer, Paul. Reach in
All right.
there.
Reach in, Paul. You got one?
I got one.
I'm way
sure?
off to the side.
What's that?
I'm way off to the side in my ball center on my feet.
Okay. Bowl over here. Our first winner is Haley Craswell.
Hey,
Hey, Haley. All right.
Congratulations, Haley.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Okay, so Haley's going to get a copy of the book, the 2022 Night Sky Almanac. That's it right there. So we'll make arrangements with everybody to let them know. There's our winner number 1.
They're good books.
Yes, they are. I keep that one out quite often, actually. So who's next? Paul. Okay,
No,
Mike, you got
Mike's
one?
doing it. Yeah.
Digging. Yeah. Okay. Pull her out of there.
Okay. Number 2, the next book is going to go to, oh, I'm sorry, do again because I had 2 stuck together. Try again, Mike.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Mike wants to pick one of those 5-cent cranes from the exhibition.
Exactly. But they never pick up anything.
yeah, I know. I've never wanted those either.
It's like watching the coin go to the edge like a waterfall, right?
Okay, so the winner number 2 is going to be Stacy Field.
Yeah.
Hey, Stacy.
There you go, Stacy.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Okay, so that's 2 books out of the way. We're going to shake our bowl back up again.
Take your ball.
Okay, Mr. Ball.
Over sideways.
There we
Get
go.
one. Okay,
Get one.
pass it back to me. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see who number 3 is going to be. Winner number 3 is Mike Thorne. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike, awesome.
Awesome. Mike Thorne. Okay, there's 3 down, 1 to go. And then the grand prize.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ta-da. Mike, back to you again.
Mike's going to have to do some drum rolling.
We're
Get
getting
it,
it.
Mike.
There you
Okay,
go.
all right.
One.
Awesome. Okay, there we go. And the 4th prize is going to Barbara Campbell. Hey, Barbara.
Congratulations, Barbara.
Congratulations. Okay, there's our 4 books that we're giving away, and now it's up to the grand prize of the
All right.
2-hour star party for up to 10 people, private star party. Stefan will make arrangements with you and having it at scheduled time and hopefully with clear skies so that you will be able to have a good evening out of it, not just a virtual
got my
event, but
name in there
virtual's
for
still
this
gonna
one,
be good
right?
too. Oh yeah, you're in there too. Of course you are. I think you're offering to help. Okay, last one. Here we go, Paul.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so the winner of the grand prize. No,
There you go.
there we go. Okay, now I get it. There we go. Okay, the winner of the grand prize of the 2-hour private star party offered by Cliff Valley Astronomy is, Lisa Ann Fanning.
Ah,
Congratulations, Lisa.
There you go.
that's
That'll get her up
awesome.
here. That's for
That'll
sure.
get her up here for sure. She'll have to save this, but she'll have to get up here this year for that
She
one.
has to come up now.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
Anyway, okay. So I want to thank everybody. It's been great being able to offer the contest once again. We probably will hold off till sometime, maybe summer, before we do another one, or maybe even fall. Maybe a nice harvest moon one. But thank you everybody for entering. Congrats to all the winners. I will be in touch with all of you. We've got all your names here, so we'll be following up with that very soon. Now, I guess we should get into our closing comments. That would be up to me again, I guess, guys, huh?
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. Okay. So here we go.
We have closing?
Oops. I went a little blip or blue again. So here we go again. All right.
You're
All right. Well,
highlighting it again.
it's been a great show. It's been a lot of fun. Been a long show, but we're very happy to be able to bring you the information that we do every week. So in closing tonight, we'd like to thank all of you again for your continued support. A special thanks, of course, to Rosanna for all of her hard work bringing her Fun Facts episode to us once again. Welcome back, Rosanna. We do appreciate it. Also hope that those of you who have joined us from Rogers enjoyed the program this evening as well. If you would like any more information about the wonders of the night sky, please contact us through astronomybythebay.ca or through the St. John Astronomy Club. Thank you again to all of you on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. You're both here and here. Who continue to share our broadcasts with your family and friends, especially thanks to Trudy, who always shares through several different pages for us, and NB Storm and Weather Center too, New Brunswick Storm and Weather Center, and all of you that have been out there and sharing our live feed. We really do appreciate it. Remember too, we do love getting your photos, so send them into SNAS, SNAS, at astronomybythebay.ca or Sunday Night Astronomy Show at gmail.com, and we'll be happy to include them on our next broadcast. We're also looking for suggestions for topics for future shows, so if you have any ideas that you'd like us to discuss, we're always looking for ideas. We want you to tell us what you'd like us to talk about, keep you interactive here with us. So send them into the same address, SNAS at astronomybythebay.ca, and we'll do our best to make it happen for you. And please let your friends and family know that we are live here every Sunday night at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook to try to edutain you guys on the night sky and the wonders of a night sky. So for now then, from Mike and Paul and I, we wish you all a very safe and happy week. Lots and lots of clear skies, hopefully, for you. And as well, we'd like to say, guys, open your eyes to view the skies. And that's Mike's new line, so we're going to use that. And keep your scopes pointed up. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us.